Okay, namaskaram everyone. This 4-day, what we are going to discuss is very specific to one Krama that when I asked Divine Mother last year, for all those who are looking at me for the first time, I had this very great honor and a purest privilege of being able to communicate with the certain divine energies which they choose. I don't have a choice, but they choose. And when I get to speak to them, I usually have conversations. Earlier, it used to be about self-doubt, that are they really speaking or did I go mad? But since it's consistently happening and they end up talking to me about their own kramas, which none of the lower beings could do it, I did understand that perhaps I'm one of those whom I don't have a certain path on what I have done to get there, but it was mostly karma yoga. And from there, a lot of selflessness. And then utter surrenderance. From the moment I understood that this is Divine Mother Durgama who's speaking to me, it was a path of utmost surrenderance, even on those darkest of the darkest phases of my life, which I gotten into because I had to take this avatar of being a guru to certain people. So they literally, I had to stop my previous work or whatever I was doing. I was acting as a CEO of a company, my own company. I ran it for 10 years. It's called N Smiles. It was into mental wellness. And all of a sudden, I got pulled into this. And when I got pulled into it, I have no idea about any of these prayers. But then it all started with Durga Saptasati as a main channeling element. But before to that, it was more on Varahima, Rajasyamalama, then Ajay Swami, Lord Hanuman. And that they used to make me do like every day 22 malas of their japa. And it was to be like every 42 days or a 22-day time. I used to get downloads to perform certain japas for a certain number of days, for a certain number of times. And then it started with Sundarakanda recitation. And then it also started with Lord Hanuman saying, I want you to recite 1 or 8 times of Hanuman Chalisa. It used to be like that, very rigorous, intense. But then I didn't know why. But okay, I was in that state where I used to say, okay, fine, they're saying, let me just do. And hence, I landed into Chandi Havan. And then from there, I got this Mula Mantra from Divine Mother, which I didn't even know how to write. And then I adapted. Then they said, do this for 22 days, for 22 malas. It was such a big mala. It was not a short 5-letter word. It used to be a 16-letter or a 17-letter word. Then I ended up doing it. And that's when they gave me this entry or foray into Durga Saptasati, where I didn't even know what. And they asked me to buy this book. And then Divine Mother used to say, read this, read this, read this. From there, she said, okay, this is it. This is called Navarna Mantra. So it's just like how I'm teaching you, I got learned. So I don't have any prior experience on how a physical guru would be and what are their traits. I have no idea. I'm just teaching how I got taught. So it can be very radical, or sometimes it could be very, very refreshing. I have no idea about that also. So, and then started this journey into writing kramas. Kramas in my world, the word means, what should I do for a particular purpose. And that purpose for me, which I've been given or asked, is to help humanity reduce their karmic debts, because of which people are going into this cycle of birth and death, which is eventually leading into Bhudevi Bhara, number one. Number two, they're all, many of you who at least come in touch with me would be in some life or in your root lives associated with divine divine avarana or divine roots to some extent, but forgot about who you are. So my job is to somehow pull you out and put you into the path which can enable you to, in a way, attain moksha, if that is aligned with you and your divine soul calling. But in that process, put you into this path of parabhakti, which is called surrendering in English, which is not just relating with divine. It can be divine mother or divine father, Lord Shiva or Nārāyaṇa. Um, um, I have not done much sadhana to Lord Nārāyaṇa, but he was one of the first, like a brother. He spoke to me and he took me to Vaikunta, showed me all that cosmic milk, Ksheerasagaram and Lakshmi Mata and Lord Nārāyaṇa. Whenever I used to go to Venkateswara Swami temple, I used to first hear to his voice. So that is a affinity I have with him, though I'm so utterly grateful that even though I have not done much sadhana, he chose to so generous in doing all this for me. So that is the reason when anything to do with Nārāyaṇa and Lakshmi Ma, I will end up doing it, because it is a pure act of gratitude for me that uh, one of the most favorite person for Lord Nārāyaṇa is Lord Lakshmi. So I'm a very ardent, loyal to Durga Ma. So anything with Durga Ma and Varasima is my foray. I just don't go beyond these two unless until they ask me to do. So Lakshmi Ma Sadhana is one of it, which Divine Mother has asked me to talk specifically on the context of Daridrya Nasana, Dhana Prapti, and Runa Vimocahana. Many people do go, including me. We all have phases of life when all our abundance has been pulled away from us, for good, of course, because it must be aligning with some of our divine evolution or our soul growth, or a moment of utter pain that is being given by divine to help us to get more into their path, which is spirituality and surrendering. So most of the time, spirituality accompanies or starts with, for most, pain, rather than generally just going into that walk of life. If someone who has gone into spiritual path just by walk, everything is really good, and still they choose to get into spirituality, that means you're so evolved, divine, you're so blessed by divine mother and father to be able to walk this path, because without their grace, we would not have this buddhi. And for those who have gone through the pain, especially related with financial losses, there is this Krama which can help understand the tattva of Lakshmi Ma, and by understanding her tattva, along with recitation of some sacred prayers, Divine Mother agrees to enter into your life. Uh, as you keep surrendering, as you keep walking that path which is aligned with her tattva. Please underline the line tattva, because I am nowhere. I'm being very, very cautious if you see about my word language, not just like I'm speaking just like that, because just hearing to what they're saying on these words, the choice of words are very, very important here. So the foray into the finances doesn't come with just prayers. If you chant Lakshmi Sahasranama for 1 lakh times and still don't understand the tattva of Lakshmi Ma, you will still be left with bouts of abundance, but then being taken it away because you still have not understood the science or the logic with which Lakshmi Ma steadily and always constantly stays with you or me to that aspect. And most of it is aligned back into surrendering. Okay, so in this 4 days, by divine grace, permission, and her blessings, I would request Ma to use me as a channel to help you understand what she feels is the tattva of us, which we are not able to catch. And in that process, what we are gonna perhaps learn is a couple of things. One, from the Vedic standpoint, the Krama that if you look at Stotra Nidhi app, you just get thousands of Lakshmi Stotras. You can go crazy about what to recite and what not. If especially you're like me who are new into this, but I just have gotten into this concern, or if you are too deep into spirituality also, our Vedic systems are so great that you get a foray of a huge list of mantras to recite, which always feels not enough because I'm not knowing what to do to resolve my problem. So this sequence especially is being chosen, which is from the Puranas, especially to address these 3 concerns, which is firstly the Runa Vimocahana, the karmic debt release. The karmic debt is an unfinished business you have with money in any of your previous lives, including this life, which is showing up as lack, limitation of showcasing your talent, or having crisis with money, or getting into debts, or the behaviors that leads into debts, which can be overspending, emotional spending, giving beyond your measures, uh, or getting betrayed by people for no fault of yours, or having fear of losing money, or actually indeed losing money. Can be any of it. Okay. It can be also keep giving to people around you uh, without any control. Like some of your family members or anyone ask you about money. Sometimes there is a disability or incapability to say no. Just want to give without receiving anything in back. Or always giving accompanies with guilt that we are not doing enough. So whatever that situation is for you, we're going to work on those elements, perhaps not directly as healing or anything. I don't know if Divine Mother asked me to do. I might end up doing healing also. I don't know at this point of time. But this is what is the premises of whatever we are doing. And the second thing is we are learning to do Tarpanam, Why Tarpanam? Because in Śrī Suktam, it is given that line which says Kamso Smitam Hiranya Prakaram Ardram Jwalantim Triptim Trittam Tarpayantim. So the Tarpayantim is an act that Divine Mother was really radiant and glowing, gets very satisfied when her devotees offer Tarpanam. So Tarpanam is a pure act of maybe expressing gratitude for all Divine Mother has given us back with whatever best we could offer back to her. But the sheer sense is gratitude. We'll understand why gratitude is such an important aspect of getting into financial abundance. All right. Then let's talk about the Sri Sukta Yantra. What does the Sri Sukta Yantram has? A lot of times, if you refer to the biggest of the biggest documents, you just find Sri Sukta Yantram and Sri Suktam as a hymn. But don't get a lot of details on the Yantram or the Bijaksharas on the Yantram and how those are aiding or one of those aspects which can attract abundance for you. Knowledge is always power. If you understand what those Bijaksharas are or what does those mandala means, what does those divine elements or those divine deities which are there in that Sri Sukta Yantram mean, and then we pray to them or bestow to her with this knowledge and awareness coming from the space of gratitude, a lot of shifts can happen. So the next 4 days, I'm going to talk about Sri Sukta Yantram, Sri Sukta Yantra Tarpanam Puja. The next is Panchanga Sevanam, which is very, very important aspects of Daiva Aradhana. There are multiple ways to satisfy Divine Mother. One of the ways is Mantra Japa. The second is Panchanga Sevanam. There are many ways, okay. Maybe other is Homa, which Mother has told me to do for global good. So, because that's one of the highest ways Divine gets satisfied, because anything we are giving, it is just being offered directly to Divine. Agni as a carrier takes all our offerings and distributes it to the Divine that we are bestowing upon to help us fulfill our wish or our need. So, this Mahalakshmi's Panchanga Sevanam consists of any Devata Aradhana to that matter is Gitam, Stavam, Hridayam, Kavacham, Sahasranama. Okay, this is something that is written, which helps us to get closer to the divine deities that we are bestowing upon. So how it says is Gitam, Stavam, Hridayam cha Kavacham, Sahasranamakam, Panchanga Sevanam Yasmat Sakshat Devi Priyam Bhavet. So the Devi Gitam talks about her tattva. The Stavam talks about the stotras which are leading us into the Bhakti Marga. The Hridayam of any of the divine. If I say Chandi Hridayam or if I'm talking about Lakshmi Hridayam. So whatever is the Hridayam, it talks about the abundant heart of Divine Mother, which can help us understand her essence in a more deeper manner. Then the Kavacham is the protection shield that we are putting around us, around our subtle bodies and our physical bodies to help us maintain our sovereignty. And then the Sahasranama is, as you all know, 1,000 ways you can, the 1,000 names that you can help her praise her glory to please her. It also involves, usually the Sahasranama involves talking about her forms, manifestations, her virtues, her qualities, her behaviors and powers. And sometimes sometimes, most of the times, also the chakras that she's gonna govern, or the chakra she's gonna do the work on, she or he, along with all the other forms of divine manifestations, which are also part of her supreme consciousness. So this is what usually the Sahasranama also includes. So as such, I have no idea at this point whether I just end up giving you those 5 in collation, what she picked and chose in the booklet. I will give it today, or I'll end up talking about it in a deeper sense. I really don't know, because last year when she asked me to do, she just asked me to talk about her yantra puja, and today she asked me to also elaborate on certain more details which are really important to help our devotees get back into abundance. So what would I speak at this point is very hazy for me too, but whatever I'm asked to talk, I will end up talking. Okay. So what are some rules you could follow is, this sessions would be in English, just because if there is certain communication that's happening between me and Divine, I would be very comfortable taking it in English rather than in Telugu. Just because I'm a pure Teluguite, I know Telugu to a large extent, but I still have not mastered the craft of, when they speak to me in a certain language, they speak in Granthikam. So sometimes I have asked repeatedly to speak in this language that I'm very comfortable. So they end up talking to me in this language, in a knowingness form or a visual form. And for me, translation that visual into English is much easier than Telugu. So there are certain things I'm working. So the moment I get to that expertise where I'm just able to also, because subconscious doesn't work in this aspect, logicality doesn't aspect. You just have to be like a channel. And at that point of time, I'm finding it a little difficult to find some words to talk about certain image that they show me, certain visual they talk about, or certain knowingness that with which they speak. I'm finding it difficult to translate on the go. That's the reason I choose English. There's no other reason. But if I get a chance, I would also speak in Telugu. When I know that whatever I'm talking is in my control. Like for the next, if I do a session, Mother Divine asked me to do this session next year, and if I know for a larger extent what I'm going to talk, then I will speak in Telugu. But certain things which I'm not very comfortable and I'm doing it for the first time, I would prefer doing it in English. So kindly excuse me for not being able to speak in Telugu for all those who knows only Telugu. If I get to understand it again and try to translate it into Telugu, I would definitely do it. The only constraint I have is time. So kindly pardon me for this once. Okay. Next time in the next cycle, I would definitely know the premises of this whole classes. Then I would be more comfortable in speaking in Telugu. Okay. The second thing is, holding divine energies are very hard. So when I speak, kindly don't disturb me. Even if you have a question, please hold it for the certain time. When I said you have any questions, I'll ask intermediately, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? That time, ask your questions rather than having this urgency to ask the moment you have it in your thought form, because it will break my flow of words. Most of it, I am not very aware on what all I have to speak. So I have to keep channeling to a large extent. So people who are used to my conversation during Darga Sapsati know the difference between this conversation I'm having to the previous conversation. So you'll know the difference. So don't try to be very, and if you're not able to understand, then I would be happy to answer it at an appropriate time. Okay. So let's today start with Lakshmi Gītam, because that is one of the most important of understanding divine Tattva. So what is Lakshmi Gītam is, in short, a precise conversation that has happened between Nārāyaṇa and Lakshmi Ma after her Avirbhavana of from the Kshīra Sagara Madalam. So for all those who are like me again, who doesn't have any reference of what's Kshīra Sagara Madana and the story around, this is a very brief story, which is like in the beginnings of this Treta Yuga and stuff. There was a time when divine beings, like the gods in the heaven and other realms, did have everything. Meaning they had a lot of strength, they had a lot of beauty, they had a lot of wealth of all sorts, blessings which anybody can be envious about, and also a very important aspect, which is immortality. And they used to have Amritam, which is the nectar, divine nectar, which gives us immortality of all forms. And why we say Amrita Tattvam in when you do prasadam is the small bowl of food that we are offering also may it imbibe the Amrita Tattva, which is the divine nectar form, so that it gives you that same. That's what we are praying when we every day offer prasadam and say Amrita Tattva, Amrita Tattvena. We offer that, right? Amrita Naivedyam Samarpayami, or Alatatvena, Amrita Naivedyam Samarpayami. We say that, or Parikalpayami, whatever that word for you is. When we do that, we are saying the same thing. So Divine Mother, who is the source of all of it, is Mahalakshmi. And oftentimes what happens is, like us, when we have everything, we get a lot of comfortable. We get into a lot of comfort zone, that we don't want to do anything. We don't want to do anything like prayers or expressing gratitude. Or most importantly, what we do is take everything for granted. Whatever we had, we take it for granted. We take the person or the people who are responsible for that abundance in our life, anything, be it a silent strength or a power, vitality, or the beauty, the charishma, radiance, or the wealth, or prosperity of all forms, maybe harmony at life, maybe career progress, maybe having children who are really, it all starts with even having children to that state, because many people don't have the blessing of having children either, because of their own karmic vows that they made, that we don't yet want to have children for ourselves in this particular life. Or it could be about their existence, the children existence, or parental existence, or in-laws existence, or abundance can come from many forms, right? Even the support that we get from helpers and so on and so forth. So how we also take all the people who are associated with our comfort for granted. Divine gods like Indra and all other also have taken the Lakshmi, which is abundance is Lakshmi. So for the sake of our classes, I'll use, instead of using abundance or samriddhi, I'll use Lakshmi as a word. Okay. So they all started taking Lakshmi as granted. Okay. And not just taking her as granted, but the grace, the generosity with which Divine Mother is showering all of this, like a free flow to the Devagana, they took it for granted. Meaning they've stopped acknowledging her presence. And then Durvasa Muni, he has got a gift of divine fragrance related garland by his prayers, and he visited Indraloka and he gave this garland to, this is in Vishnu Purana, okay. He has given this to Indra. And what did Indra, the Lord of Heavens, do is, in his state of arrogance, or maybe because of the Maya, for all this to happen, he has put that garland on the Airavata, which is his vehicle, his Vahana. And because the elephant got allergic to, or maybe it got irritated with that fragrance and thing, it put that garland down and stamped it. And Durvasa Muni is very, very famous for his quick anger. One second. So he immediately cursed, said, "You insulted the very source of abundance, the source of what you get everything, that is Divine Mother Lakshmi, Sri in her supreme form. So from this day onwards, your Devaganas will lose everything. You lose our grace, you lose our power, you lose all your charishma, you lose your immortality, you lose your good blessings that's coming your way in all forms and shapes." Okay? You're able to follow what I'm saying, everyone? Okay? And then from then onwards, what happens is, slowly, okay, like just like us, how slowly, we started losing our abundance in every form and shape. Like that, they was also started losing all their power. Their weapons didn't work when they were asuras came to fight with them. Their radiance, their brilliance, they have this Zen mode all the time, right? That all started fading slowly. And asuras who were fighting with them started winning. And they started taking over certain of their roles, their lands, their heavenly realms, and the other realms where everyone were residing. They started occupying Gandharvalokas, Apsaras. They started getting into all their spaces that they shouldn't. Meaning what? Slowly, Asuras have started. Meaning the darkness have started to fill our lives. Just the Purana is nothing but a reflection of what's happening to us when Alakshmi starts entering into our lives. Slowly, because of our taking it for granted nature. So, like that, heaven, all the heavenly realms of Indraloka started losing its shine. And not just that, the attendants who are there to get this divine immortality, because Lakshmi Ma is not giving. So they should also have some alternative source, right? So that was not happening. Whatever prayers they are praying for Lakshmi Ma's return, not working. Food is not happening. The world of theirs started feeling very shaky. Like it was not happening for them. What is this? Nothing is working. We had tried doing, okay, let's cultivate. Okay, that's not working. They've tried to talk. They started doing rituals, yajnas, yagas, everything, nothing. So Divine Mother, where she went off, she went and hid into the Ksheerasagara. Okay, why Ksheerasagara? Because it's the it's maybe for the purity. Okay, it was the place where divine resides when the balance of the universe has to be uh, restored. So because they wanted to retain their purity, so they go and stay there. Okay, so because it's a conscious, it's a purity, and here the people who are around Divine Mother, who is like the Asuras or the Devas, they're all started to get either take it for granted or greedy. So then what happened? The moment she went and hid for more and more, the moment Durvasa Muni has given a shapa and mother started retracting, where did she go? She went into the Ksheerasagara and she's there. Then these people, all of them, finally figured that they had to go and ask Lord Nārāyaṇa for help. And they all went to Nārāyaṇa and said, Swami, please fix our problem. We are no more able to do it this by our own. We tried every ways to restore our abundance or Lakshmi in our life, but she's not coming. She's not at all there. And how hard we do also, we are left with only roadblocks, but nothing seems to be working. Please help us. Without her, our heaven seems to be so lifeless. We are deprived of all those things that we once had but have taken for granted, and now we see the gap of how our lives were when Lakshmi was with us versus how it is right now when she isn't with us. So without her, darkness is winning over us. Asuras are winning over, and they're all everywhere in our lives. They're entering into other parts of our lives. Meaning, when Lakshmi is gone, she's not being with us. It impacts our relations because we start feeling inferiority and we stop going to our friends' houses or any social gatherings. Because she is not there, we stop eating. In our worry and stress, we stop doing our work with a lot of interest and passion that we once used to do. Because of that, we also lose out our work or promotions or other things, and slowly it drops into different areas of our life, right? It starts with having, getting into a debt or getting into a kind of lack limitation, and from there it seeps into self-doubt, worry, fear, fear about self, fear about future, fear about our children, our jewelry, or all those positions that we had, fear of other people taunting us, other people struggling to us, and then self-sympathy about why me, I'm being so good, why am I being penalized? All of those conversations, or try to put it on some people, because of them we are like this, because of them we are how we are, so because of these circumstances, because of this, whatever that is. But then it is about understanding, right? It's not about that she disappeared, she just became silent. She wants to restore this balance that we have lost. So in that process, she became, in our life, she became quiet. And that quietness is, she wants to retain the purity with which she resonate with. And when we start becoming impure, like just how divine asuras have become, divine gods have become. So that's the parallel that she's trying to tell us. And in that way, she rested into this Ksheerasagara, mother. And then they say, okay, maybe you might have to churn to get her out. But ocean, it's not a lake or a pond, right? It's the big ocean. So it's just a bunch of people can't do this journey. So what they say is, as the Indra Loka people say, Ayo Swami, we alone can't do this. It's so difficult. It's cosmic ocean, and we don't know how deep she has gotten into and where she is. To bring her out of it from there by those centrifugal and centrifugal actions, it requires a lot of strength to us. And we are very small in couple, and as such we are deprived of, because we don't have Amrita, we have been deprived of our own strength. So it's not possible for us. The first act of surrenderance. Then and then they say, they realize what all they lost. Our energy is low, our weapons are not working, and at this point we are not even able to win over asuras. Where will we have strength to churn it by ourselves? And then they, please give us a solution, what to do. Then Lord Vishnu says, okay, no problem, go and make peace with asuras, because you're saying they are having strength, right? So get their strength, and then both of you together can churn it. And I'm telling you, the process of bringing money back, the process of bringing Lakshmi back into your life can be very, very testing, but it will also purify your world. So it's very important that you stand still when the testing is happening, or when the process of churning your life for good happens. It's gonna be painful, but hold on, because it's not something to be scared, but it's something to be, it's for your own purification. That's what I'm just trying to bring parallels between that story to our life, so that it becomes not like some Purana, some story, all right, to that story is nothing but it's my own life, and how how Lakshmi in me can be steady and fast by doing what asuras and devas have done, how I can mimic it, replicate it, and then see how I can bring back the Lakshmi into my life back with all her glory, and how I can keep her in my place constantly and steadily, so that she never goes back. Okay, that's the effort I'm trying to bring in. So sorry for those delay of words. I'm just trying to make sense how I can relate with both the stories. So, and then what happens? Lord Vishnu says, go and bring your asuras. But then Deva says, asuras, will they listen to us? They always fight with us. They never bring. But then just go and try. Let us see what happens. So then the heavenly God goes and talks to that Asura's king and says, hey guys, can you please help us with this Kshetra thing? And then the Asura king is Bali Chakravarti. And then they say, okay, we are also losing all our strength. And the only way is for us to get our Lakshmi out. And if she comes out, there is one thing that you get, which is Amritam. The word Amritam sounded very, very good for Asuras. And they said, okay, if it is for Amritam, the deal is on. We're going to come and we're going to participate in this journey. But the thing is, we want to take the head. So they choose Vasuki, the divine serpent, as the place how they churn, and Mandara, the divine mountain, as the place where they do the pull and the push for the centrifugal force to come out, like how we churn our buttermilk. So what happens is this process of the push and pull between the the Asuras and the Devas happen for some time. So the Asuras take the head, the Devas take the tail, and they both are churning it. And Asuras thought, because of the head being with us, head is more powerful than the tail. Uh, it's gonna be more nectar for us. So let us take this, and they just went. But what happened is, during that process of churning, lot of heat started producing, which is coming out from that serpent's mouth, which was like spitting a lot of fire and smoke, because of which a lot of asuras did get burned. So again, the parallel is, in our quest to get Lakshmi back, we also try to do some things that are filled with arrogance. Okay, something about showing your power, showing your strength, showing your, I will get this done. I'm gonna do this by people. I'm not gonna spend my time. I'm gonna spend money and get it done by people. So whatever that arrogance in one people, without we taking action, we want everything else to get sorted it out, or we just want her to come without we taking actions that will help us to purify our current being. By just doing prayers, we always look that, okay, by recitation, I'll just get off. But that's what Lakshmi Ma says is not how she comes. That's the reason I'm emphasizing on this story to a large extent. Then the mountain starts sinking because of this push and pull, and obviously where there is no force that can hold. So Lord Vishnu becomes a tortoise in his Kurma avatar. He just say, okay, let me put it in the back, and I will help you to steady fast so you can churn it more fast. So it just happens. And the first time when the milk is churned, the ocean, the Kshira Sagara, Hala Hala comes, that Lord Shiva takes up, because of which his throat is blue color. And then the Kamadhenu, which is the wish fulfilling cow, comes. Then Uchchaisravas, which is their horse, that unicorn horse kind of a thing, that comes out. Then the Kalpavriksha comes, the wish giving tree. And then Dhanvantari, which is the divine physicians, they come with holding a pot of Amrita. And then just keep going, 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 going. And then slowly the whole water, the ocean, because it's white and Divine Mother is in golden color. So the whole water becomes golden and with very big glow and a very, very unique fragrance that uh, divine associate with. See, many of you who have these uh, 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 sorry. Many of you who have this experience of uh, divine Devi Ma, or in our temple rooms, we feel this very unique fragrance, right? Even during Havan, we get that. It's a not like our scent, or not that, not the javadi or something that we put into the oven, not the scent, not rose water, not not any of the sandalwood, nothing. We don't put anything, right? But still there is a very unique fragrance that comes from our temple rooms, not from our flowers, not the fragrance of flowers. um, but it's very, very one unique. Anybody experienced that in this forum? Like, huh? But that is the divine fragrance, right? So we feel. So that is what is the fragrance that these people also found, because that comes with a very huge fragrance, which is so different to any of our most expensive scents and um, perfumes that we use. I have not found it very. I've not found a parallel to that fragrance, so I don't know how to put it in words and things. But it's a very, very divine fragrance. So that fragrance started spreading, and from there, came Divine Mother from the lotus, from the in between the ocean, and the moment Lakshmi Ma showed up, the devas and the asuras and the sages, everybody who were all there in that Madanam, they all stopped, and then they wanted her quick glance. Oh, let Lakshmi come back to me. Come. Let it come back to me. I'm deprived and starved. Abba, I want money. I want this. Please, Amma, come to me. Please. The desperation. Even one, just her glance will solve all our problems. Please come. Please. So, and the moment that she saw that, array, what is this? Even now also, everybody is greedy only. They're not coming from purity of hearts. Always I'm seeing only pride or greed in their faces. Why pride? Because it's a huge effort and they were finally able to get her out. And why greed? Because one small glance of her or a half glance of her will bring them into the previous stage that they were in. So all of them wanted her, a piece of her. But then when she looked at Lord Vishnu, he was just silently watching and being there with him. That's when Lakshmi again comes back and decides that I will always be Nārāyaṇa Priya. And that's where we always combine Lakshmi Nārāyaṇa as an inseparable unity. So if you praise Nārāyaṇa, Mahalakshmi will get very, very happy. When you praise Lakshmi herself, this is a piece where we always, that prayers goes to Nārāyaṇa also, because they are inseparable, maybe inseparable energies that come together. And then what happens is, what is one important parallel that we can say is, when Lakshmi enters our life, we want her for what she is, because she represents prosperity. Okay, what she brings prosperity. She brings lot of luck. She brings lot of glow into our life, radiance into our life, happiness into our life, that suddenly it just washes away because of we losing what all she brings. But what is her true nature is, Lakshmi Ma doesn't represent only money or the richness or the prosperity. She represents, actually what she represents, which many of us don't agree or aware, is she represents balance, harmony, inner prosperity. This, most of us are not aware of this truth. So Lord Vishnu, in his divine father role, said, after she settled, and the moment Lakshmi Ma comes out, there are two elephants. She comes out in the Gajalakshmi form, where lot of two elephants pours lot of water on her, like Kumbha Abhishekam, like that. And in that avatar, after she comes out, Lord Vishnu says, Amma Lakshmi, please tell me in your own words, why do you come? Why do you leave? What kind of heart or mind you like? Where do you live? How do people put you in their life for steady? Instead of you coming, going, all this. And that conversation is captured in this Brahma Vaivrata Purana, where all these slokas you find, Lakshmi Kavacham, Narayan, Lakshmi Hridayam, all of this you see this line. Okay. And the essence of it is the conversation. Just like how Bhagavad Gītā is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, Lakshmi Gītam is the conversation between Lord Nārāyaṇa and Lakshmi Ma on how prosperity, purity, devotion, and wisdom, if all of it coexist, is where Lakshmi Ma comes in her own true form and essence, not just like fortune, prosperity, money, but the the purity of with which she embraces people when her tattva is followed. So, Lakshmi Gītam as such is not a prayer or a sloka or a stotra, but it explains about her nature. What is it? So, why, when they said Panchanga Sevanam, why did they include this Gitam, which is a very, very hidden people, because they didn't have access to this. What usually when we recite this, even the people who are into most of us, without our knowledge, when we say Gitam, we think it is Mahalakshmi Stotram, and we end up singing Namaste to Mahalakshmi, Mahamaye. We sing of that song, or we think any other song which is related with Lakshmi Ma, thinking Gitam is song, because we translate like that in our collective language. But here Gitam is like Bhagavad Gītā. Like we have, apparently we do have 8 to, I'm not wrong, 8 to 9 Gītams, along with Bhagavad Gītam, like Ganapati Gītam, Chandi Gītam. So there are some Gītams. So I still have to translate Chandi Mata's Gītam. I have to do it when Divine Mother gives me permission, but she told me that it is there in Sanskrit. So this Lakshmi Gītam is very, very important aspect, because it talks about how, after being disrespected and withdrawn, the very sign that abundance is not there in our life, how would Lakshmi return to you? In her own words, why she comes, why she goes. And Lord Vishnu, as an eternal teacher, even in Bhagavad Gītā, he ended up teaching us tattva. Even here, he's talking about, there in Gita, he talks about dharma. Here, he talks about the virtues that accompanies abundance, and how one of the important aspect of Lakshmi Tattva is gratitude. And now if you go back to why Tarpanam, and why what is the most important aspect, when we talked about Saptasati prayers and why we should start with gratitude, it is all tying up, because that is one of the best ways your abundance return back into your life in all forms and shapes. So the Lakshmi Gītam has 7 parts. The first part talks about how one should worship Divine Mother. Okay, what is her nature? What is her essence? Where do she stay? What is her in her world? What is it? I am doing in my own way. Is that what she wants, or is it something else? So for that Ma says, I am the union. Okay, in her words, Lord Mahalakshmi. So far, you understood, right? What I'm speaking. Okay. So for that, what Ma says is, I am the combination of truth, purity, beauty, and compassion. So it is not important where I am worshipped, but it is very important how I am remembered. Where there is sincerity of my prayers, I dwell there, I stay there. Where there is truth, I stay there. I won't stay in places where there is cheating, where there is greed, where there is jealousy, and all together. I stay in places where there is kindness, gratitude, devotion, and humility. How much ever you have, you stay humble. I stay in these places. I don't stay in greed. I don't stay in deceit. I don't stay in cheating. I don't stay in envy. I don't stay in jealousy. I stay in kindness, gratitude, devotion, humility. My true form is the beauty that lies within self-righteousness. The righteousness which is not just right according to one individual, but righteousness according to the divine will, where there is some action that seems to be right from the divine's angle, not your angle. Righteousness means doing right and stop avoiding doing wrong. But that right and wrong is your perception that is coming from your samskaras. But what she wants is to do right and wrong according to her. Okay? And that what is right according to her is what is the knowledge she is going to shine upon when bestowed upon her. So when we bestow upon her and when we understand the divine light, which gives a knowledge of doing right according to divine mother's feeling of righteousness, that is where she dwells. So doing rightful actions, not just what you think is right, but what divine mother thinks as right. Again, coming from the space of sacrifice, coming from the space of love, and the knowledge that comes from my deeper understanding about what is to be done. Okay, it is a combination, it is not one. It is a combination from where it comes. So I come from the righteousness that arises within a Brahman, a Jiva, that comes, the righteousness that comes from the understanding of what is right according to Divine Mother, which arises by Dhyanam, by understanding the mantras and recitation of those mantras and helping me overcome my vices in that process. So, to know me, one must not see Divine Mother only through gold, through diamond, through property, possessions, materials. No, this is not Lakshmi Ma. That is how ignorant people see me as. The true me is coming from purity of heart, which is not outside you, which is inside you. Just like how Ksheerasagaram is essence of purity, you are pure at the core. Inside your heart center, when you look at the purity within you, you will see I am nowhere, but inside you, I'm just there, and you're searching me everywhere outside, thinking when I do this, I'll get mommy, Lakshmi Ma. If I do this, I'll get my money back. If I do this, the people who owe me money will give me. If I do here, so we go here, there, everywhere, searching for money, doing things that are, I don't know for what, but end of the day, she dwells nowhere but within your heart center at the innermost core, which is light Ksheera Sagara, which is essence of purity, essence of pure love, pure light. So, and that's where she says. And only when the mind becomes so clear and humble can they find me in my heart center. So when you have to find your Lakshmi Ma, where she is nowhere, but in the heart of your center of your heart, which gets ignited with your purity, after you remove your greed, your deceitfulness, your jealousy, your searching, they are outside everywhere, not calming your fear, because only when the mind becomes clear and humble, when will that mind becomes clear? When I'm able to keep my fears to rest, when I am able to keep my anguish to rest. How? How will I pay my EMI? What will happen if somebody talks? What will happen if this person comes and asks for money? All of that are fears, right? Or I am like this. I used to be like that earlier. Unfortunately, I came like here. I'm dwelling in my self-valuing, self-sympathy. Or I'm giving all my problems to because of these people, because of these people, because of this. I am become like this. So instead of all that blame, instead of all that guilt, instead of all that anguish, fear, desperation, Divine Mother is nowhere found. Where is she found? She is found in your inside centers of your heart, and she can only be traced or traced back when you clear your heart center, become humble. Not let pride rule your heart, but humility rule our heart, and that's when she is found. So when the mind surrenders completely, you will find me nowhere but within your heart soul, within your heart center. That is what is the tattva of essence, chapter 1 of Lakshmi Gītam, where she says, I am not in beauty, I am not in wealth, I am not in external possessions or materialistic possessions or opulence. I am present in the way of life, which is filled with the truth, compassion, gratitude, humility, and I live in the heart center, which is the true temple for that soul, which is filled with pure thoughts, pure forms of uh, pure thought forms. So that is where I, as Lakshmi, reside. This is what is the first chapter of Lakshmi Gītam, which is talking about where she is. Then you all understood what I'm saying. Is it making sense, or is this content very dry? I also found it very amusing when I first got present to this content. So I said, "Oh God, there's a lot which we are. This is a world which I'm not even aware about." So I thought earlier when I wrote that chapter, the message, I only thought I would teach Yantra Puja, which is the what she taught me last year. I thought, okay, let me tell that, and I'm done. And I was very confident because I was like going crazy with my havans, with my fourth day of second day of so Durga Saptati recitation is still pending, and then I have to do corrections. So I'm like, Amma, I don't have time. She said, you first come and recite this Purana, Padma Purana. That's what I was telling to Pavani the other day when she called me. Hold on, I'm phonetically searching in Padma Purana. Where is this content? So it was like that. So yesterday I was like, I disappeared from all the WhatsApp group and messages because I was only deep into doing all this work. Okay. So after that, the second thing is the second chapter. Okay. So if you want to drink some water, please drink because I also want to drink. So there's a lot of emphasis in Lakshmi Gītam about gratitude. That's what I understood. Okay. So the second is how should we worship her? Okay. So Divine Father asked, okay, we understood. You are in the in you are in truth, you are in kind compassion, and you are in gratitude, you are in humility. In such places I dwell. So people who are living a dharmic life, who are compassionate, who are living day to day with utter gratitude and humility, Lakshmi Ma never leaves them. Only people who become adharmic or they become arrogance, pride, they lose, they miss out on being grateful for their blessings in life, or they become so prideful about their flaunting and possessions and wealth and materialistic stuff. And that's when one of the reasons why she leaves. So here the Satyam is not the Satyam that we are to believe as Satyam, which is the truth, but the truth that Divine Mother thinks. See, the righteousness part, you all may question, Amma, I'm very rightful. I never cheat anybody. I never harm anybody. I don't even do any kind of uh, small harm also to an ant also. Why am I being taken away my money, Amma? So that the truth revines. What you think is truth is not the truth. What she thinks is the truth. And somewhere in our whole world of compassion, what we are, what she wants us to be as the purest form is mismatch. That's the reason perhaps we don't get it. Okay. So you might also say, Mom, and there is a lot of politicians who are so adharmic. What happened to them? Why are they being given? Why am I penalized in this life? Forget about future lives. So the answer to that also is, it's a, how much ever you resist this truth that this life is not the only life. There are lives before and there are lives after. And today you having a continued prosperity or abundance is not just the function of today your merits, but the merits you got, the good karma, the deeds that added into it, the purity of form, the mantra sadhana, the purity of intention with which the charities and the donations has been given by you or your ancestors, or the kind of activities you involved yourself by building temples or by honoring divine in multiple forms and shapes and in Daivakaryas and religious aspects. Again, coming from humility, not from grandeur to flaunt, or not from rigidity to stick on to certain principle that you think is truth and not the other. So blinded by your own perception. That's what I hear. So that is where all this mixture has happened, where suddenly there is some truth that you think is truth is no more the truth. There are certain aspects of your life which are masked by your vices, and there is time to come out of that shell that you have put on yourself, like a tomb which needs to be broken, like an eggshell. And the time has come, and that's when the life has started to go into so much of what that is not truth for yourself from a bigger point of view. That's when Lakshmi enters and Lakshmi steps back. Okay. So that is what is her answer for that. So whatever today you're seeing is a function of a lot, and whatever today they are doing is what determines their next path. And if you see all these Ambanis and all the other richest of the richest have a huge aspect of religiousness as integral part of their life. If they do understand this, they know how to honor her, to please her, they keep doing things in their own ways and forms, which will add up into their abundance aspect or nullify certain negative things they do. But then the amount of time that always karma never gets, there's no partiality for the Lord of Karma. So the moment you do anything to step out of these four aspects, Lakshmi sets it. And the next is, how do we worship? Now we have very much understood the aspect that Lakshmi is not just to be worshipped as giver of wealth or gold or possessions or materialistic comfort, but she in the purest form is the pure thought and sacred consciousness, and it can only be tapped by compassion, by gratitude, by humility, and not by arrogance. You can't confine Lakshmi Ma or satisfy her just by opulence of flowers, deepas, lamps, or any kind of naivedyas without you being noble. Okay? All of those, when offered with nobility, with a sincere heart, she comes and wipes all your concerns. But if it is coming under a confinement of arrogance, where there is no nobility, where there is no a heart to wipe others' tears or feel the other person's hunger, pain, anguish, or the heart that doesn't resonate with other people's helplessness or incapacity. Okay, when there is a person is doing all the prayers and doing all 16 upacharas, giving so many offerings, naivedyams, prasadams, giving the richest of the richest sari, richest of the richest clothes, abharanas, everything to her, whatever capacity we have, huge flowers, lamps, lights, Diwali day, full house light, full bike set lighting, all full lighting, all that. But then that is the place she's not gonna come just by looking at all this. She's coming even to that poor person who don't even light one light in their house, but always lights up other people's lives with a sincere heart, and the heart that has the capacity to wipe people's tears without you getting what's in for me, what is the benefit I get if I wipe other people's tears. If I feed this person who is hungry, what will I get? Ayo, my time is getting wasted by spending some 2 minutes time on people to provide them some counseling. I know that the person is going through crisis, but I don't care. I'm only in my own world. I will only take, but never give. She won't come into those houses. She won't come into those people, that kind of mindset. She won't come into people who have no courage to help people who are helpless, or she won't come into those people who are humble enough to come and hold a person's hand when the other person, she knows they're inferior and they're struggling with certain things. Instead, when she's been remembered with a devotion and help those people who are going through pain, who are feeding those people who are having hunger, people who are going through helpless situations or crisis, you come forward and try to help them in your own form, or give them courage to live life, or give them courage to bounce back. That is where is her truest worship. It's been told by her, by her in her own words. That is the reason I thought, instead of worrying about the Sanskrit verses, it's better we talk in the language that we understand, so that reading it 1,000 times without knowing the meaning, than that explaining it in English in a way you understand is much better. And this can be listened multiple times. She asked me to record also. I asked that, could I do the live or record? We can just record and then upload. So I'm going to record and upload it, so that you can also refer to it multiple times, so that you can shift your life to places. And I'm saying you, it's all you, me, everybody. I'm so grateful that she's given this pearls of wisdom, and I'm so grateful that we get to hear her essence after so much time, understanding that Lakshmi Ma is only God of opulence, wealth. So to get her, we have to satisfy it with a lot of opulence, lot of shinery, glittery, all of those things. Even my world was only that. And when we are incapacitated to do, we feel inferior. Oh, I can't do this. Look at the other house. They have so much house full of lights and stuff. I'm a poor person. I don't have that much capacity to lamp up my own whole house. But that the answer is, you don't have to do all that. All your selfless sacrifices that you are doing in helping other people's tears to be get wiped, feeding those people who are hungry, whatever you have only this much, give this much to others. That itself is Lakshmi dwells there. You are yourself struggling with a lot of problems, but you give courage to others in their own way and be a strength to others. Lakshmi dwells there. You are whatever you have, you feel all of it is Divine Mother's blessing. Stay humble and not say, yeah, this is me, I am so much, I am so much, I am VP of this, I am this much, this much, this much, I am everybody, I know everything. Lakshmi don't be. Yeah, whatever is there is Divine Mother's blessing. Lakshmi dwells there. So this is where you understand where is her true form, where she dwells and not, and that is where she resides in the truest form. So devotion is not just praying big mantras with lot of perfection, though she enjoys it, but that's only one form. But those are all to get your mind calm, so that the true righteousness sinks in, and the arrogance is being burnt by the purity of our mantra siddhi, and that's where we see the light in us. We see Lakshmi who is deeply residing within us. So devotion to Mahalakshmi is not constantly pleading, Amma, solve my problem. Amma, give me money. Amma, help me to get me back what I lost. Amma, do this. Amma, do that. Amma, I hope you will do this. Amma, I'm doing this for you. I hope you give me this. Amma, I'm doing this for you. This is where not Lakshmi Ma gets satisfied. Ma satisfies only when you say, I'm offering my purest heart, Amma. I have nothing else to give. I have this pure heart. Please take it and please help me to get whatever I think, whatever you want me to give. Then she comes back in all her grandeur and blesses you with all that she can bless you, what you are ready to do at this point based on your purity of heart. So I'm only talking from the context of when she went off and how she comes back. So all these lessons I want you to integrate on what are all the essences that she comes back. All right. That is what is our Lakshmi Tattva for today, because it's 6:30. I thought we should take a break because it will take, otherwise we'll go on like this only. I know most of you might be going to work or you're busy with your morning schedules. So I would give a hard stop here. So tomorrow we will again continue with our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th chapters of Lakshmi Tattva. And then I think that will be for tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we'll talk about our Yantra Puja. And the last day maybe certain aspects of it, some more. All right. So could we take a break now? Okay. You have any questions? When you thought about Lakshmi Puja and Tattva, did you expect all of this? No, I hope not, right? Most of you have come with, we don't know why we are here, but this is what she asked me to talk about. All right, then. Tomorrow let's talk about, even my Saptasati students are very calm, so I'm so scared. Why are you all there? So I'm like, what happened to my children? Why are everyone so calm? Is there something terribly wrong with what I told after the topic has gone more serious? So
it was the instructions you have given, Amma. Because of that, I kept quiet.
What instructions, Amma? To become quiet, is it? Not in the class, Amma. Everybody are pinging me with personal message for every single thing. Okay. Already I'm going through this stress. Now you understand how heavy it is, this topic, to understand, to talk and to do in one day. It is so difficult, right? And every second, every minute I'm getting message. Amma, what will be the timing? What will be the thing? Will it be in Telugu? Will it be in Namaste, Amma? Finally, we got your number. సరే సలి వచ్చింది, ఏం చేయమంటారు, ఉండండి, నా గోల నాది, మీకు నా కష్టాలు తెలియవు నేను ఇంకెలా చెప్పాలి, అందుకని మొత్తం రాసి పెట్టా. సో డోంట్ మైండ్, ఓకే. వెన్ ఐఎమ్ గివింగ్ సచ్ స్ట్రాంగ్ మెసేజెస్, నాకు ఇక్కడ బ్యాండ్ బాజా బారాత్ అవుతుంది అని అర్థం. లేకపోతే నేను నార్మల్గా ఐ బీ ఇన్ వెరీ కామ్, వెరీ ఏదో జోవియల్ మోడ్ లో ఉంటా అనమాట. కానీ అక్కడ నాకు ఏదో సీరియస్ మ్యాటర్ డౌన్లోడ్ అయిపోతుంది అంటే ఇంక నన్ను డిస్టర్బ్ చేయదు బాబు, నా తల పెగిలిపోతుంది, ఇక్కడే చేయను, పిచ్చిపోతాను నాకు ఇక్కడ అని చెప్పేసి ఐ గెట్ ఇన్ టు దోస్ స్టేట్స్ అనమాట. సో డోంట్ మైండ్, ఓకే. యు నో హౌ డిఫికల్ట్, రైట్? దిస్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఆర్ సో very new to me also. So it was difficult. So we'll talk about the next topic. Even if you look at the yantra thing, it was, I myself got my mind blown away. Okay. See, there's so much actual essence of divinity and what divinity means. But then we all got sidetracked with something else of what we think is divinity as. What Lakshmi Aradhana means. గోల్డ్ కాయిన్స్, ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి, బంగారు కాయిన్స్ తో పూజలు చేయాలని ఎక్కడ చెప్పింది ఆవిడ? ఆ బంగారాన్ని కరిగించి ఆకలిగా ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి పెట్టండి అని చెప్పారు, కానీ ఎవరు చెప్పారు నాకు బంగారు లోటస్ కమలాలతో చేయండి, ఇంకా వాటితో చేయండి, వీటితో చేయండి? నేనైతే ఎక్కడ చదవలేదు ఆ తత్వంలో. మన మధ్యలో ఎక్కడ యాడ్ అయిపోయినాయో ఇవన్నీ. లక్ష్మీ పూజ అంటే చాలు అందరం సిల్వర్ కాయిన్స్, గోల్డ్ కాయిన్స్, తనిష్కులో గోల్డ్ కాయిన్లు కొని మరీ పూజలు చేసేసుకుంటూ ఉంటాం అనమాట. ఎక్కడ దొరికింది ఇదంతా? అసలు ఎక్కడ వచ్చింది? వేర్ ఇస్ ఇట్ ఆల్? ఐ డోంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్. So it was not even given to her about any, in the nearest forms also she has not told about as all Dhanatrayas anagane bangaram konese Indian ekkada, nowhere it is being told. But unfortunately we are all got bombarded, blasted by these marketing gimmicks that these gold shops and jewelry guys do, and we think Dhanatrayas means buying gold coin or buying a gold jewelry. But where in her tattva did she talk in any of the closest form that she's gonna come with a jewelry? And in specific gold and diamond, or platinum to that matter, or white gold to that matter, or rose gold to that matter, or gold coin, fine gold and pure gold. What's all this? Just putting a burden on husbands, or putting a budgetary constraints on women, or trying to feed upon their greed. It's no wonder that India is sitting on, I heard it's like $3 trillion of gold worth of things is being stuck in Indian households. I'm not wrong, I don't know. I just had a very one-liner news yesterday that there's so much gold residing in Indian household. So no matter, we are all become like one puppets in the hands of marketing guys. So when the bigger the ad, a Times of India ad for one page on one day takes 4 lakhs. So if that guy who is Tanishq or any other Bima jewelry or any other jewelry to that matter has 4 lakh worth of thing to just spend on an ad, how much should be the return on investment for him to spend that much, being purely into business? And we're pure puppets. The moment we see that ad, and thus we run to the jewelry shops and then say it is Dhantrayas, we have to buy gold. So now you decide for yourself, even though you have plans of buying gold, you have saved it for all your year and want to buy gold, is it what is Dhantrayas representing? Huh? Is that what? Buying or purifying your heart? So understanding your tattva, understanding where I am going wrong, where is it that my money is stuck, why is it that Lakshmi went away? Can I have, without any prejudices that, oh, she speaks with only lucky people like Tejuma? Hello, by the way, I'm not lucky, okay? I really work hard so much like this to get all this content delivered across. So it's not any luck that, and it's so hard, right? Doing all this and then saying, still I'm getting overloaded with another new content. It is at a different level of hard. So it's not luck. I would never agree if anyone henceforth say luck, okay? I really work so hard to retain this. So I'll take back all my words, wherever I gave impression that I'm very lucky to get here. No, I'm not. It is so hard, and it's every moment act of surrenderance. To just go read this, I have to end up reading all that till night 11, 12. Though I don't know where I will land up into, because I'm not coming from any priest or any kind of knowledge where I've not learned any Vedas. I don't know any of those. So it's as new as you for me. So the only source I get is go read, compile, understand what she's gonna tell, and then put it into a place where I can make sense out of it. So it's an act of surrenderance. So maybe she taught me surrenderance to teach you surrenderance. So who else can? I may not teach you a lot of Vedic Gyan on how to be better in pronunciation of a mantra, which you get in YouTube everywhere. You open, there are many masters who chant mantras to the best of the best tune and tonality and all that. So I'm not very good with all that. I'm saying, but what you get from me is to connect with Divine Mother in her purest form, because I get to connect her in that form. And yes, I would definitely take it as a huge privilege that Divine Mother has connected both of us, because when I strongly have been told, and I do believe that when the student is ready, the master arrives. So it's your own prayers, it's your own purity of thought, it's your own quest for wisdom, your knowledge, that perhaps has pulled me into your lives to an extent that I have to pause my life and turn this avatar. So I would give a lot of credits to each one of you and give you confidence that as you listen to this discourse or satsang, whatever we name this today's conversations to be as, perhaps this will shape up your understanding about Lakshmi Tattva and steer guard your journey of life into abundance by understanding her true Tattva and form, instead of getting attracted or lullied or bullied into what marketing geniuses think of Lakshmi as. This is my most humblest plea. If you end up going into gold shops on Dhanteras Day after listening to this whole discourse for 4 days, it makes no sense. That only is a cost of investment, a dent in your pocket. And if you are in a place where it is not a dent in your pocket, perhaps enjoy that place, but that's not a sign of what Lakshmi Ma represents truly in her truest form. She is the form of purity. The gold purity we search is not where she resides. She resides nowhere but in your own heart center. Just for all those who stayed here, though they don't understand English, in one line, లక్ష్మీ మా ఎక్కడ ఉండదండి, ఆవిడ మీ గుండె లోపలలోనే ఉంటారు అని చెప్తున్నారు. కానీ ఆవిడని ఎత్తుక్కోవాలి అంటే మనం ఇక్కడ అక్కడ అంతా ఎత్తుక్కుంటాం. కానీ అమ్మ ఉండేది ఎక్కడో కాదు, లోపల పొరల్లో మీ గుండె లోపలే. ఎక్కడైతే ప్రేమ ఉందో, ఎక్కడైతే తాత్వికంగా జీవితం జీవిస్తామో, ఎక్కడైతే ధార్మికంగా జీవనం జీవిస్తామో, ఎక్కడ మన థాట్స్ ఈవిల్ గా కాకుండా నాకు ఇది లేదే అనుకుంటూ 24 గంటలు భయం భ్రాంతులతో ఉండకుండా నమ్మకంతో నిర్దిష్టమైన జీవితాన్ని ఎంత ధార్మికంగా అయితే అంత ధార్మికంగా, వాడు నన్ను తప్పు చేస్తున్నాడు కాబట్టి నేనే తప్పు చేయాలి అనే భావంతో కాకుండా, వాళ్ళు ఏదైనా చేయని నేను ధర్మంగా ఉంటా, ఆ ధర్మము నాకు డివైన్ మదర్ తెప్పిస్తుందో ఆ ధర్మాన్ని నేను పాటిస్తాను. నాకు తెలిసిన ధర్మమే కాదు, నేను తెలియకుండా నేను నా వయసెస్ లోంచి యాక్ట్ చేసిన నా బ్యాడ్ సంస్కారాస్, నా పాస్ట్ సంస్కారాస్ విచ్ ఈస్ యాక్టింగ్ ఇన్ మై ప్రారబ్ధ కర్మ, అక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చిన ధర్మా నుంచి నేను నా లైఫ్ ని లీడ్ చేస్తున్నా. కానీ అందులో నేను ఎక్కడ నేను తప్పు చేశానని నేను బిలీవ్ చేయట్లే. కానీ అది నేను చేసే యాక్షన్స్ లో కొన్ని అవి అలైన్మెంట్ లేదు డివైన్ విల్ తో, దానికని నాకు లక్ష్మి వెళ్ళిపోయేది. ఒక్కసారి నేను అలైన్మెంట్ చేసుకున్నాను నా లైఫ్ ని అంటే, ఎలా ప్రేమతో, ప్రైడ్ లేకుండా, గర్వం లేకుండా, శరణాగతితో, కంపాషన్ ఏమనాలి, కంపాషన్ ఏమంటామండి తెలుగులో? దయ కరెక్ట్, కరుణతో, దయతో, నాకు ఎంతో వచ్చు అన్నప్పుడు కూడా నాకేం రాదనుకోవాల్సిన పని లేదు. నాకు వచ్చిందంతా భగవతి యొక్క కృప అనుకోవడం బెటర్ ఆప్షన్ ఏమో. హ్యూమిలిటీగా ఉండడం అనమాట. ఇక్కడ అమ్మ ఉంటారు. ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉండరు, జలసీలో ఉండరు, కుళ్ళులో ఉండరు, కోపంలో ఉండరు, వాళ్ళకి ఇది ఉందే నాకు లేదే అనుకోవడంలో ఉండరు, నేనే గొప్ప ఉండాలి అని పక్కన అదిమే దాంట్లో ఉండరు, నాకు ఇది లేదే నాకు లేదు అని దాంట్లో ఉండరు. నేను ఇది చేస్తున్నా, బహుశా నువ్వు నన్ను కరుణిస్తావు కావాలా, నేను ఇది చేస్తున్నా, బహుశా నువ్వు కరుణిస్తావు కావాలా, నేను ఇంత పూజ చేస్తున్నా, బహుశా నువ్వు నాకు ప్రాప్తి ఇస్తావు కావాలా, ఇందులో ఉండరు.
నేనే కరెక్ట్ అనుకున్నాను,
నేనే తప్పు దాంట్లో ఉండరు. అమ్మ ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ఎవరికి అర్థమైంది? అందరు తెలుగులో చెప్పండి కొంచెం, మా తెలుగు ప్రజలు. అత్యాశలో ఉండరు, పక్కన వాళ్ళు ఏదో బాగుపడిపోతున్నారని మన ఏడుపుల్లో ఉండరు, మా జీవితం ఇలా అయిపోయింది అని
అంతా నా వల్లే అని అనుకునేది,
అంతా నేనే అనే దాంట్లో ఉండరు. అంతా నేనే గ్రేటు, పక్కన వాళ్ళంతా ఏం లేదు యూస్లెస్ అనుకునే దాంట్లో ఉండరు. ఇంకా నా అప్పులు ఎప్పుడు తీరిపోతాయి, నేను ఎప్పుడు వెళ్ళిపోతా, నాకు ఎప్పుడు నువ్వు వస్తావు, ఎంతకాలం ఈ కష్టాలు, నా జీవితం అంతా ఇంతేనా, నా దరిద్రపు జీవితం, నేను ఎప్పుడు ఇలానే ఉండాలి అనుకునే ఏడుపుల్లో ఉండవు. నేనేం పాపం చేశానని నాకు ఈ జీవితం, నేనేం చేసుకున్నానని, నేనే కర్మ చేశాను అనుకునే ఏడుపులో ఉండదు. ఇంకోటి కూడా ఏడుస్తుంటారు, అందరూ నన్ను ఇలా చేసేసారు, వాళ్ళ వల్లే నేను ఇలా నా బతికిట్లా ఏడ్చి వచ్చింది, ఇంకొక వాళ్ళు కానీ బాగుండింటే నేను ఎంతో బాగుండేదాన్ని అనుకుంటాం కదా, వాళ్ళు కానీ నన్ను మోసం చేయకపోయింటే నాకు ఇలా ఉండేది పరిస్థితే కాదు అన్న ఏడుపుల్లో ఉండదు. ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉంటుంది? ఎవరైనా ఆకలేస్తే వాళ్ళకి అన్నం పెట్టే దాంట్లో ఉంటుంది, ఎవరికైనా బాధపడుతుంటే వాళ్ళ కన్నీళ్లు తుడచడంలో ఉంటుంది, ఎవరైనా హెల్ప్ చేయడానికి ముందుకు వస్తుంటే నాకేంటంట, నేనెందుకు హెల్ప్ చేయాలి, వాళ్ళు చేసుకోలేరా, నాకేం పట్టదులే అనుకునే దాంట్లో ఉండదు, హెల్ప్ చేస్తే అందులో ఉంటుంది, ఎంత వచ్చినా ఒదిగి మణిగి ఉండడంలో ఉంటుంది. దయతో మనము పక్కన వాళ్ళ కోసం చేసే పనులలో ఉంటుంది. ఎవరికైనా మనం హెల్ప్ చేస్తే కూడా నేను హెల్ప్ చేశా అని చూపించుకోవడానికి చేశానా, లేకపోతే ప్యూరిటీగా బాధపడుతున్నాడు, అమ్మిస్తేనే కదా మనం ఇలా ఈరోజు ఉన్నాం, సో వాళ్ళకి తెలుసు మనకి వీళ్ళు కావాలి అని, సో నాకు చేతనంతా నేను చేస్తా ఆ థాట్లు. సో ఇట్స్ నాట్ జస్ట్ ద వే యూ యాక్ట్, ఇట్ ఆల్సో ఇన్ ద ఇంటెన్షన్ విత్ విచ్ యూ యాక్ట్, దాంట్లో ఉంది అమ్మా. ఇంకేదైనా మర్చిపోయాను? సో ఇదంతా తెలిసాక కంసోస్మితామని హిరణ్య అని మనం పాట చదువుతుంటే శ్రీ సూక్తంది, అబ్బా ఒకసారి ఊహించుకోండి, తెల్లటి అలా పాలపుంత, ఆ పాలపుంత మీద ఇమాజిన్ డివైన్ మదర్ లైక్ ఓషన్ ఆఫ్ మిల్క్. In that milk, if there is this golden waves, golden form of energy that comes out like that, how beautiful is that vision, right? When she gave me that vision of how I come out, I felt so, ఇట్లుంటావా అమ్మా నువ్వు, ఇలా ఉంటావా, అలా అనిపించింది నాకు నిన్న, ఇట్లుంటా నేను అని చెప్పి she showed me those that that golden waves, like on that ocean of thing, it is like the orange color waves are spreading like this and like this. So because she's coming from inside, and the white turns into gold, and then the aura of it, the whole ocean turns a hues of gold. So even to imagine, and in that comes the most, like the pearl of ocean, Lakshmi Ma, so beautiful with a beautiful smile, that with coming with lot of compassion in her eyes, and that demeanor itself is such a sign of purity. It is unmatched. See, Durgama, she shows up as different. Okay, my mother is like full on warrior mode all the time. So, but then it do have a sense of love in her eyes. The Durgama represents commitment for me. Okay, I never seen her having lack of commitment for her devotees. Okay, however, how many conversations I had with each one of you, I would have had at least one conversations, especially when you stay with me for a longer time. I suddenly get sometimes that okay, go talk to her, go to talk. So even you don't ask a question, I myself will call you and talk. So all those times, I only hear one underneath the tone, which is that commitment for that her devotee. And it is so humbling for me to see her humility, so commitment for that person's life. I don't think you have commitment for your own life than how she has commitment for your life. That much commitment Durga Ma shows. But Lakshmi Ma, on a contrary, she looks for purity. She waits. She is not a person who is gonna do something for your wait a minute. So what Mother says is, she waits for that purity to emerge within you by doing all the pujas and uh, all her all the other things. And the moment purity emerges, that's when she enters into her life. So she puts you into the path of being pure. All her mantras, her tattva is to help you embrace purity. Okay, but she's a subtle sattvic energy. She's a very subtle force. She waits. She waits until the purity dawns upon. Yeah, that's what she says. She's not gonna come into your life like a whirlpool, make yourself upside down, and then change everything like how the Dhamma just does. She makes our life upside down. She pulls you, pushes you, tags you, do everything needed for Mahakali avatar to emerge in you, which is putting that torchlight on your karmic index, and then shake you to that core where you take away all your weeds so that the purity consciousness emerges. That is where the Lakshmi Rupa emerges. And that nurturance with Jnanam happens in Saraswati form. That's why Durgama is a combination of all three. But here, individually, Lakshmi Ma force is talking about purity to emerge. The more you purify yourself, the more she's going to enter into your life and steady and compassionately. That's what I hear when I said, Amma, are you going to shake us? She's going to quietly go away. She'll go and she doesn't do any ruckus. Durgama ala kaadu. పట్టుకొని పట్టి బాగా కొట్టి నేర్పిస్తుంది అన్నమాట దుర్గమ్మ. లక్ష్మీమ అలా కాదు, ఉంటావా సరిగా ఉంటావా మీతో ఉంటా, లేదంటే టాటా బాయ్ బాయ్ నేర్పిస్తారు. మనం అడుక్కోవాలి, అయ్యో రామ్మ మర్చిపోయాను, ఏదో మిస్టేక్ అయిపోయింది, చచ్చిపోతున్నాను రా తల్లి, నేను రాను. సరే నేను మన పనులను మార్చుకుంటా, నేను ప్యూర్ అయితా అని మనం ప్యూరిగా చేసుకుంటే అప్ షీల్ కమ్ ఇన్ టు అవర్ లైఫ్. That's what is the difference between Durgamma and Lakshmi. I'm not glorifying my Durgamma anywhere. I'm a loyal servant to my Durgamma and nobody can stop away that. So wherever I see chance, I'll always talk about my mother. And my Varahi mother also, in some way. Our ba baatadu. Durgamma kottundi. Rajam pata em inpatleda ma akka cheppedi neeku. Ra ikkada ani talonchi pata kotti mari ittu pada antundi annamata Varahi mata. So these are two different energies. But Lakshmi Ma's energy is always, even as I access her, it is, I can only make parallels with those Mutyam pearl. How pure she is. That is the only word that is coming to me all the while when I want to talk about her, because she's as such a very pure energy. So like there is no ఎక్కడ కల్మషం లేని ఎనర్జీ అంటాను చూసారు. That's what is Mahalakshmi. So that is where we need to get to her. So that's all from my end. And today, Kapunda kuda అయిపోయినాయి. So tomorrow we will talk about her more tattva. Okay, I might end up only talking 4 days her tattva and just give you a copy of the Krama. Please forgive me if that happens, because I have no idea what I'm gonna talk. But I thought only I should give for 4 days, because I want you to realign your thought process, sit with yourself on Dhanteras day or Amavasya day or Diwali day, as against the halla-gulla of doing these crackers and all of that. I want you to sit for half an hour and reflect upon your life choices, where I think what should be my strategy of surrendering. Even ask that her, see what thoughts come, where you want to surrender more, how you can imbibe these aspects into your recitations of your everyday parayanas. So what is surrendering? What does surrender mean to you at a personal level in the areas you are struggling with? And how does that outlook shift your life to for better, for good? So have some one-on-one time with you. Block your calendars if you're somebody who go by calendars and appointments, and just keep that for yourself. Take a book, you and your book, close friends, on that particular time. Just chalk out some action strategies that you could do to help yourself worry a little less, stress a little less, surrender a little more, be a little more compassionate person, be a little more humility person, or be a little more a person who is courageous in the front of peers. Be a little more how you can help somebody who is in need. Be a little more who is engaging in dharmic activities. A little more of these, a little lesser of these. Okay. So now you understood what's little more and what's little less, which we might be doing reverse. So let's realign our whole stuff so that indeed you get to understand that tattva, not just at a theoretical level, but at a personal level. All right? Thank you for your time. Thank you
Thank
for
you, Amma.
I really respect your time. And I hope these conversations made a difference, or started to make some small difference in your life, as against the normal conversations that we are supposed to have. So let's continue our journey for the next 3 days. All right? Saransi Chetan Bhartins. ఉంటానండి ఇంకా.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అమ్మా.
నాకు టైం దొరికినప్పుడు అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాను.
Thank you, Amma.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అమ్మా.
మధుర సబ్జెక్ట్